little story about the places that I've been to and the things that I've been through. Like fighting and shit. Now I'm about to take it back to 84. When I was 14, kicking back in the trees, west side.
I work with Second and None, AMG, Eazy-E, High C, Snoop.
You hear Hammer quit?
Who? What?
Hammer quit!
We're dancing over videos. We went on Soul Train and got blam. Damn, with new shit spinning, dapping, elbow turn around, slide off, all syncopated. Now everybody doing a crib walk. I like to dedicate this song to my fiance, Eazy-E. Now let's get down to business. With your misspelled name, E-I-H-T. Now should I continue? Yeah, he left out the G, cause the G ain't in you.
Cause the G ain't in you. And I slid the pencil across the bottom of it, and I got up and walked away from the table. I knew that was it.
You can't talk about hip-hop legends without giving DJ Quik his flowers. Born David Marvin Blake, DJ Quik brought something completely fresh to the game, fusing funk, soul, and jazz into his signature sound. This blend didn't just set him apart, it helped define the smooth yet hard-hitting vibe of the 90s G-Funk era. His music had a groove to it, but it still packed a punch, a balance not many could pull off, and it became his trademark. And let's not forget one of the biggest moments in his career, dropping one of the hardest diss tracks of all time.
I like to dedicate this song to my fiance, Eazy-E. Now let's get down to business. With your misspelled name, E-I-H-T. Now should I continue? Yeah, he left out the G, cause the G ain't in you.
That track wasn't just a diss, it was a cultural moment. It hit so hard that people were literally getting shot for bumping his music.
You said that in Compton, people get shot at for playing DJ Quik in their car sometimes.
I got shot at. We was going up Rosecrest and Central, and I was bumping it in my Cadillac, and we just heard pop, pop, pop. I hit the corner, we kept pushing.
That's how much weight Quik carried. Even now, that track and Quik himself are still celebrated. Some of today's biggest legends openly praise him, recognizing him as one of the first to truly set the bar.
It was Cube, man. It was Cube. I'm gonna call you Theo because you weigh 92.3 pounds. Whack actor, movie don't you know? Quik is still Compton psycho. And don't jock your shit. You need to stand down, you Compton clown, and get off of the nuts with guts. Cause I'm down with that record was crazy, man. Like that record was crazy. I still play it to this day.
Another thing is that DJ Quik is criminally underrated, especially by the new generation, which has been pointed out by many insiders.
You ever feel like Quik is truly underrated, bro? Like as far as accolades and just everything.
Well, I think the thing about DJ Quik is always was just the music.
Yeah.
And we should that should be enough.
And they're absolutely right. His impact on the industry is undeniable. He's produced some of the highest quality music for some of the biggest names in the game, including Tupac, 50 Cent, Kendrick Lamar, and many others.
I got a bone to pick. I don't want you monkey mouth mother sitting in my throne again.
Produced by Daz Dillinger. Engineered by DJ Quik.
Some even call him the Blood Eazy-E, which is a playful nod to Eazy-E's iconic status as a Crip. The comparison makes sense though. They both had crazy influence, undeniable charisma, and represented their respective sides of the culture with pride. And the coolest part is that despite being on opposite sides of the gang spectrum, DJ Quik and Eazy-E were super tight.
Did you hear Hammer quit?
Who? What?
Hammer quit!
Quik has spoken many times about his admiration for Eazy, calling him one of his biggest inspirations.
I always wanted to be like that. I always wanted to sound like him. I wanted to get my jerry curl done at the same place he got his done at. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's one of the just easy going. Bro, Eazy-E used to come to my house, knock on the door, come inside, and kick it. Yes. Like, bro, you a millionaire? You living in Gardena? Like, what are you doing over here, my nigga? He was just a cool, smart, so smart that it was like every single thing he said made sense. You know, and you can use it.
There's way more to DJ Quik's story, so let's take a closer look at how this West Coast legend carved his place in history. David Marvin Blake, better known as DJ Quik, was born on January 18, 1970 in Compton, California. Growing up on the west side of Compton at 436 West Spruce Street, Quik was surrounded by the tough realities of gang life that shaped much of the city. Compton, being a hotbed for gang activity, inevitably pulled him into that lifestyle. He became affiliated with the Treetop Piru, also known as Treetop Bompton Piru or the West Side Trees, a blood gang located in the northern region of Compton, south of Rosecrans. Living right in the heart of Treetop Piru territory, Quik's environment heavily influenced his identity and later his music. Quik was the youngest of 10 siblings and faced a tough upbringing. His father left when he was very young and Quik only met him once.
My mom sent me to go spend some time with my dad when I was like maybe 4 years old. He taught me how to make a paper airplane, and he left.
Despite the challenges, Quik developed an early interest in music. For his 8th grade graduation, he was gifted a turntable, which became the foundation for his journey into DJing and creating music.
And back then, mixing vinyl, you kind of had to have innate sense of rhythm to do that. I could put on 2 records and blend a 3rd record with it, you know what I'm saying, or overdub cassette with it and have 3 things playing at one time.
By 16, Quik's life took another rough turn when his family's house was foreclosed on. His mother moved to Louisiana, but Quik decided to stay in Compton. Homeless for nearly 3 years, he hustled to survive, relying on his passion for music to keep him going.
16 years old, going on 17, homeless. At this point, I'm just kind of going from apartment to apartment. I needed an address to continue to go to school in Compton, and I didn't have that address. That was the worst time of my life, actually. One of them.
He chose the name DJ Quik, intentionally dropping the C to represent his blood affiliation. Interestingly, even with the C omitted, the CK in Quik could still be read as Crip. But many Bloods were willing to let it slide because of his growing reputation. In 1987, Quik started selling homemade mixtapes around Compton, gaining traction in the local scene. His most notable early work, The Red Tape, earned him a dedicated following. By the late 80s, Quik's hard work was paying off, and Profile Records took notice. In 1990, they offered him a deal, marking the start of his professional career. At the same time, Eazy-E had his eye on Quik and even offered him a $1 million advance to join Ruthless Records. However, Quik had already signed with Profile, and the situation led to Profile issuing a cease and desist against Ruthless. Quik later reflected on his time with Profile, calling it both a blessing and a curse. While they helped launch his career, the label often shorted him financially, forcing him to fight for what he was owed.
Profile was a curse and a blessing at the same time. I mean, they put us out there, but they didn't pay us.
Nevertheless, Quik made a splash with his debut album Quik is the Name, released in 1991. Fueled by hits like Tonight and Born and Raised in Compton, the album climbed to number 10 on the charts and eventually went platinum. Although none of his later albums matched the commercial success of his debut, Quik continued to be respected as a producer and artist, working with acts like Second 2, None, and others. However, as Quik's music career was taking off, his gang ties and fiery personality led to trouble. In 1991, he performed at the Event Center in Denver, Colorado, a venue located on the notorious East Colfax Avenue, a strip known for gang activity and crime, particularly with the Treachery Crips and other Crip sets. On that fateful night, Crip gang members bought tickets and packed the venue. During his performance, they began taunting Quik, and he responded by throwing up blood gang signs while performing his hit song Tonight. To escalate things further, Quik altered the lyrics from F it, let's shoot some craps to F it, let's shoot some Crips. The tension exploded when someone from Quik's entourage threw 40 ounces beer bottles into the crowd, hitting one Crip in the face and another fan in the jaw. Quik then poured his drink onto some of the gang members in the audience, which pushed things over the edge. A full-blown melee broke out, with the Crips storming the stage and attacking Quik and his crew, forcing them to flee the venue. 2 hours later, Denver police arrested Quik at his nearby hotel in Stapleton. He was charged with misdemeanor assault. Aside from the chaos on the road, DJ Quik found himself caught up in rap beef, particularly with another Compton rapper, MC8 of the group Compton's Most Wanted, CMW. The tension between the two started way back in 1987 when Quik dropped his infamous mixtape, The Red Tape. On the track Real Dough, Quik dropped a line that seemed to reference CMW. Although it wasn't blatantly hostile, it was enough to get noticed. At the time, Quik was still relatively unknown, so the diss didn't create much of a stir right away. But as his popularity grew, the red tape started gaining traction, and that little mention of CMW didn't go unnoticed for long. When MC8 finally heard Quik's mention on Real Dough, he wasn't about to let it slide. On June 19th, 1990, CMW dropped their debut album, It's a Compton Thing. Track 7, Duck Sick, was MC8's direct response to Quik's earlier diss. The whole first verse was aimed at Quik, with 8 telling him not to act like the hero of the Bloods by dissing Crips on record.
CMW, boy, you ain't said jack. Your senses should tell you, kick it, don't be a hero.
Things escalated when CMW released their album Straight Checkin' M on July 16th, 1991. The project featured the track Death Wish, which many interpreted as a direct shot at Quik. The first verse sounded like it contained veiled threats, and the second verse went further, with 8 apparently calling Quik out by name and referencing earlier diss tracks like CMW's Duck Sick.
Up to the Compton psycho, biting me quick with me, you get the duck sick.
This had fans buzzing even more, but 8 later denied that Death Wish had anything to do with DJ Quik. In an interview with DJ Vlad, 8 claimed the diss was all a misunderstanding, saying he didn't even know who Quik was at the time.
I had a song called Death Wish. In the song, it had a verse that said, biting me quick would mean you get my sucked quick. People took that to say I was dissing Quik.
Interesting. Okay.
I never knew him. It was just a phrase to me.
However, fans weren't convinced. 8's story didn't add up, especially since Quik's earlier disses had specifically called out CMW, not all Crip-affiliated rappers as 8 claimed. 8 even suggested that Quik dissed NWA, particularly Eazy-E, but that theory didn't hold water either. Quik and Eazy-E were known to be friends, with Eazy even trying to sign Quik to Ruthless Records.
He had a song on there where he was talking about shooting me and NWA, Eazy-E, from the top of the tree, because he was from Treetop.
On July 21st, 1992, Quik dropped his second album, Way Too Funky. Quik didn't hold back and addressed MC8 on not 1 but 2 tracks. The album's title track, Way Too Funky, featured a mix of subliminal and direct shots at 8. In the second verse, Quik directly called out CMW's track Death Wish and made it clear he wasn't going to let the diss slide.
Claiming I got a death wish, you should try again, fool.
Then came the album's closing track, The Last Word, where Quik got even more personal. He shouted out his crew and supporters, but when it came time to address his beefs, Quik got ruthless. His comments about 8 were sharp, disrespectful, and left no room for misinterpretation.
All the rappers of Compton, except one, a no-rapping monkey face, one hit heaven.
Of course, MC8 wasn't going to let DJ Quik's disses slide. Later that year, on September 29th, 1992, CMW dropped their album Music to Drive By, and 8 used several tracks to fire back at Quik. On Duck Sick 2, 8 went in on Quik, mocking him for making party tracks and clowning his high-pitched rapping style. Another track, Dead Men Tell No Lies, featured subliminal disses in the first 2 verses. 8 didn't name names, but the target seemed obvious. It was likely aimed at DJ Quik. By the third verse, 8 got more direct, addressing Quik's earlier diss on Real Dough, where Quik had claimed he was going to shoot CMW off the top of the tree. 8 called Quik out, asking why he even bothered to diss him on the underground tape in the first place. Then came Death Wish 2, where 8 launched a full-scale lyrical attack on Quik. The Death Wish 2 music video took the beef to another level. In the video, there was a DJ Quik lookalike who appeared to be having nightmares about getting beaten and by CMW and 8. During all of this, DJ Quik was getting more deeply connected to one of the most dominant forces in hip-hop at the time, Death Row Records. Quik had a long-standing friendship with Suge Knight, the infamous CEO of the label. Both of them were from Compton and shared blood affiliations, so their bond made sense. Eventually, Suge brought Quik into the Death Row fold, where he worked on various projects and became associated with the label. However, Quik never actually dropped an album under the Death Row banner. Later, Quik explained why he decided to part ways with the label. He said it was because the street life was starting to bleed into the music. Since Quik had left the streets to pursue music in the first place, seeing that same energy show up in the studio was a deal breaker for him. For his own peace of mind, he knew he had to step away.
But it started to get funny when the street started to spill too much into it. I grew up in the streets and got into music to kind of get away from the everyday. And then here it comes. Now in the inner city is in the studio with me. So I left.
Meanwhile, MC8 was riding high with the release of his debut solo album, We Come Strapped, on July 19th, 1994. This album kept the beef alive with yet another installment of the Death Wish series. But Quik wasn't the type to let that slide. He decided it was time to respond, and he didn't just throw in a few subliminals. He recorded a full-length diss track aimed squarely at MC8. On October 18th, 1994, Death Row Records released the Murder Was the Case soundtrack, and on it was Quik's explosive diss track, Dollars and Cents. Quik came out swinging in the first verse, taking shots at 8 and even referencing the Tran Park Crip set that 8 was associated with. He got personal, mentioning a rumored airport confrontation between the two, and calling 8 out by his real name, Aaron Tyler. Quik clowned 8 for calling himself the Compton Psycho and questioned his street credibility. The second verse delivered more heat, but it was the third verse where Quik dropped one of the most iconic lines in diss track history. Even Quik admitted in interviews that when he wrote that verse, he knew it was game over. Dollars and Cents was an instant classic, solidifying itself as one of the greatest diss tracks of all time, and proving Quik's genius when it came to battle rap. Fast forward to February 21st, 1995, and Quik finally dropped his highly anticipated third album, Safe Plus Sound. Released under Profile Records but executively produced by Suge Knight, the album featured Dollars and Cents, and even more tracks taking aim at MC8. On Let You Have It, Quik addressed 8 again, this time revisiting the infamous line from Real Dough off the Red Tape where he rapped about the top of the tree. Quik clarified that the line wasn't even a diss, it was just his way of saying he was on the rise and letting CMW know he was coming for his spot. Things took a darker turn just a few weeks after Quik dropped his album Safe Plus Sound. On March 13th, 1995, Death Row hosted an after-party at the El Rey Theater in Los Angeles following the Soul Train Music Awards. The event was supposed to be a celebration, but it turned violent when Kelly Jamerson, a member of the Rolling 60s Crips, showed up with some of his crew. A fight broke out between Jamerson and several Bloods, including DJ Quik. It wasn't just fists being thrown. Jamerson was beaten with chairs, bottles, and stomped on by a mob of people. Eyewitnesses later claimed that Suge Knight stood by, watching the chaos unfold and shouted, "Y'all get that dude?" Jamerson's injuries were severe, and he was rushed to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where he was put on life support. Tragically, he passed away the next day. By the summer of 1995, the beef between DJ Quik and MC8 wasn't showing any signs of cooling off. On August 3rd, 1995, the iconic Source Awards took place at the Paramount Theater in New York City. This night went down in history as one of hip-hop's most infamous events, primarily due to Suge Knight's speech that escalated the East Coast versus West Coast rivalry. But the night also marked a new chapter in the feud between DJ Quik and MC8. DJ Quik took the stage to perform, knowing full well that MC8 was sitting in the crowd. In one of the boldest and most disrespectful moves in rap beef history, Quik performed his diss track Dollars and Cents right in front of 8. To make matters worse, Quik added extra disses both before and after the performance.
I'd like to dedicate this song to my fiance, MC8. Now let's get down to business. Tell me why you act so scary, giving your set a bad name with your misspelled name.
MC8, despite the provocation, chose not to react. Considering he was massively outnumbered by Suge Knight's Death Row entourage, he decided to leave instead. The tension in the air was thick, and with Suge stirring the pot on stage, 8 realized that escalating the situation wasn't worth risking his life. Eventually, the two of them finally squashed their beef after witnessing the tragic losses of Tupac and Biggie. But as Quik's career progressed, so did the personal tragedies he faced. One of the most devastating moments came when Quik witnessed his best friend get shot by his own nephew.
Here I lose 2 of my favorite people. My nephew, who I always wanted to see do good, because he was homeless just like I was when my mama lost her crib. And my homeboy Daryl, who'd been helping me be successful.
This incident left Quik deeply shaken and haunted him for years. Then there was the heartbreaking accident where Quik accidentally ran over and killed a pedestrian, an event that weighed heavily on his conscience. The loss of his protege Mossberg to murder was another blow. Mossberg's death devastated Quik so much that he nearly gave up on everything. In his grief, he reportedly attempted a daring and reckless stunt on his Harley-Davidson motorcycle, speeding down the Pacific Coast Highway in a bid to outrun his pain.
But I wasn't in the right state of mind
None during that time, because I couldn't understand how to deal with that amount of grief.
Quik's traumatic experiences didn't end there. He developed PTSD after surviving a terrifying shootout at a funeral in Inglewood, where Crip members showed up to kill him. The incident resulted in several people being wounded, further reinforcing the dangerous reality of Quik's gang ties, even as his career was taking him to new heights. Despite his musical success allowing him to leave Compton for the quieter suburbs near Woodland Hills, the troubles of his past continued to follow him. In 2003, Quik was involved in a heated family dispute where he allegedly pistol-whipped his sister. According to reports, his sister had threatened to kidnap his children and extort $2 million from him. The altercation resulted in Quik being sentenced to 5 months in prison in 2006. During his time behind bars, Quik reflected on his tumultuous upbringing and gained a new perspective on his life. Unfortunately, the family drama didn't stop there. In 2013, Quik faced another heartbreaking ordeal when his daughter Daviana and her boyfriend Darnell were charged with first-degree murder in the death of their 2-year-old son. The child had been severely beaten by Darnell for wetting the bed, leaving his body covered in bruises. Daviana told police she was too scared to intervene, fearing it would provoke Darnell further. When she returned home from work and found her son unresponsive, it was too late. Daviana was ultimately sentenced to 12 years in prison, adding another layer of tragedy to Quik's life. The pain didn't stop there. In 2022, Quik's son, David Blake Jr., was arrested for murder, marking yet another difficult chapter for the Blake family. Despite enduring a lifetime of challenges, Quik has managed to come out on the other side with a renewed sense of purpose. After more than 3 decades in the music industry, Quik has stepped into a new phase of his life. Clear-headed and operating at a different frequency, Quik is focused on his future and legacy. While he's hinted at releasing new music, for now, he seems content taking a back seat and producing for other artists.